Hi there and welcome back to the Message Marketing Pod. I'm your host, Christopher Melotti from Melotti Media, and this is another special episode where I get together with Kristen Hancock from Font and Swatch and Mike Sandys from Oddball Marketing, where we discuss the power of brand guidelines in today's marketing world. So brand guidelines are a critical part of your brand and business today because they provide a cornerstone of strategy, clarity, and direction for brands so that you can be consistent. So enjoy this special episode. It has lots of great insights. Hi there and welcome back to The Four Marketers. My name is Chris and we've got Kristen and Mike, and in this episode we're going to be discussing the importance of brand guidelines and the trends that we are seeing in our respective spaces in marketing. So brand guidelines, they're a staple. They've been around forever.
Yep.
But the thing is that before people go, well, I know all about that, there's a lot that's changed, and there's a lot of things that we're seeing in our markets, and brands are coming, like they understand the importance of them, but they're falling away from them to their detriment. So we've all got different aspects of branding that we do. So I think we'll throw it to Kristen.
Yeah, we probably use them the most. We create them. We've seen a trend a lot probably in the last few years. It's been going on for a while where people move from brand guidelines. They saw it as a way to reduce the cost of a rebrand, and they shift down to quick reference guides.
Yep.
Quick reference guide will just tell you, from our perspective, it just tells you what colours you're using, what fonts you've got. It explains your brand, bit of clear space, etc. But it really gives you no indication as to how the brand should be applied, how it should be used, or any of its tone. So what you lack in a quick reference guide is the brand, really, because all you're substituting it in. So basically somebody then says, well, I've got brand guidelines. It's like, no, you've got a quick reference guide that just shows you what colours you have in your brand. You don't actually have a guide on how to do it. And what we find in that situation is that you get a lot of ambiguity in what the voice of the brand is. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of ambiguity in the way that it's applied, and you also get a lot of ambiguity in the way that it engages with a customer. And the longer it goes on, the less people reference them, and really you start to lose trust in the brand. Yeah. So and that's the thing that we see most. So we always push that, look, you really need your brand guidelines because you need to understand how to apply it.
And look, I come from the messaging side. Yeah. So like if Kristen's doing the design and all the colours, I'm doing the messaging side. And I find the same thing is that most brand guidelines that I'll get presented with, they will have like, we are courageous, we are bold, and they actually don't have language to use. And so as a result, the brand across all of their marketing executions feel like it goes a bit rogue because people don't know what actually courageous looks like or sounds like. Exactly. And so what's happening is they're just throwing it out there. So you have some bit of marketing that's super, really strong, and then you get some that's kind of a little bit bold and a little bit wishy-washy. And the point we're trying to get to here is that without a strong brand guidelines, but also the activation and use of it, your brand loses its strength, right? And consistency. And a lot of, I think, from what I'm finding, and I get quite passionate, is a lot of brands, they forget the importance of having that consistency because what happens is in the market, when you're not consistent, you're nothing because you're vanilla, right?
It's too hard to put yourself out there if you're not consistent, basically, and you haven't got that clear messaging and the clear engagement with the audience. I think what we're pushing harder and harder is to capture more of that messaging in the front of our brand guidelines because it really sets the verbal tone. We can give them, when we start to build out the wider brand guidelines, we give them the visual tone, but we feel that you need that combination so that, because early in the document, we talk about, okay, this is what we are, this is what the brand represents from an emotional connector, and here's its personality. But what we really get excited about is this is the language you use, and you combine that with the imagery, and all of a sudden you've got a template. It's this template that you can't go wrong, and particularly when you're trying to push it so visually into digital media, if you've got that combination, then the people that are applying it, whether it's your original agency that did the work or whether it's a new agency partner, they've got a guideline to follow, and it makes so much.
That's the key thing for us, is that the more detail and the more specific it is around how it represents the brand, the better the guide we have. And so you don't get this ambiguity, you don't get this sort of wrong messaging. And when you've got lots of different people involved, that's where I think a lot of companies are coming unstuck now. You've got so many marketers that, in terms of marketing itself, it's so broad now across so many channels, and you get so many different experts across the board, all getting involved and having to implement that brand in different ways. And it's all evolving. It's all new. When you look at all the different social media channels and stuff now, they are all still evolving as platforms. How does your brand then apply to that? And if you haven't got strong guidelines, then people just interpret it.
Well, they do.
Their own thing.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody comes up with their own perception of how it should look. And it doesn't mean just because you created brand guidelines, and that's a clear guideline on how the brand should be interpreted, but it doesn't mean that that is the way it will be forever. So if you do get new partners that come on board and they say they want to push this particular channel, if they've got a strong brand guidelines and they feel that it doesn't fit with that channel, that just stimulates conversation to say, okay, how should our brand be interpreted through this channel? Because the way that we message through all of our other channels and the way we message from a corporate perspective, for example, say they're just touching into TikTok and the original brand guidelines didn't consider TikTok,
yes, it wouldn't have.
then, it promotes a conversation to say, okay, what language should we use and what should our appearance and look and feel be for TikTok, because it's a slightly different audience engagement we're looking for. But you can, if you have the brand guidelines, you can create the look and you can ensure consistency with the brand instead of, as you said, Mike, just somebody else interpreting it, because it's a killer if somebody's interpreting it. Because, invariably our branding eye will look at it and go, that's really not how we interpreted that brand to appear. Yeah.
I mean, do you find it with websites and things? Because as I said, I'm trying to reiterate to the audience and listeners here is that it's not marketing fluff. We don't do brand guidelines because we go, hey, let's charge people. The problem that customers have, all types of customers, is they have a wash of choice. And it doesn't matter if you're an accounting firm, a legal firm, a product, a service, it doesn't matter, is that when you have so many options out there, when you are so vanilla or you don't follow a character or a sort of guidelines, you get stuck with that. And so what happens? Price competition. Because what is like all those legal firms that sound the same, there's no differentiator other than price. And so that's a fight that no company, no brand wants to have. Yeah. And so, I know I've done a few where I've done a psychology brand, and it was we came up with this messaging where it was a place where you feel heard, and that was so from them, and it made her so distinct in her space that it was, and she attracted all these new people, and now she used that language across everything, and so now it's really distinct, and that's the power of brand guidelines. It's not a nice to have; it's such an essential part of your marketing toolkit.
Yeah,
I think that's the key with the brand guidelines too, is that it's having the essentials and the right items in there. And kind of communicating the core essence of the brand so that you don't have to be maybe so specific in each channel around exactly how it needs to look. Yep. If you've got good foundations around the brand and what the brand identity should be, then you can interpret it and get it more likely to be more accurate with the actual brand. So that's probably one of the challenges that we see, where they get a bit too rigid sometimes and don't consider then, or don't allow people
give
to
it
then
flexibility
evolve
to express itself.
I don't know. Do you guys see that? Do you have those sort of challenges as well?
Yeah, and I mean, we find, look, when we work with global brands, they get quite specific. But even that, they are specific in an application of the brand, but give you flexibility in how you will send that message through. So, in the positioning, the colour use, the font use, etc., that they're really, really specific, which they need to be. But they don't get right down to, okay, if we're posting on Facebook, it must look like that, because you can't. If you do that, all you end up with is the same post.
Yeah.
Each time. So you've got to add flexibility. It's more like, okay, if you're using imagery on Facebook, then the imagery must look like this. So it must have a smiling mic facing the camera, and looking professional. You can't have somebody running on a track. Yeah. So it gets really descriptive in the type of imagery you use, not what image you use. And similarly, same with where the logo gets placed on that image. So it's always, if it's Facebook, it might say logo is always placed bottom right-hand corner. Yeah. For example.
I think that's probably one key area where there's a lot of evolution that needs to happen to a lot of brand guidelines, because things like with social media, for instance, you need authenticity. You need to be having really good imagery that's really specific and really focused around whatever it is that you're sort of posting about. You don't want this heavily polished really overdone brand to it, because that's from what we've seen in terms of social media and engagement. Those posts, very poor performance. People see that, they see it's too much production done in it, too following the brand exactly. And so it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel real. And so you just go, well, that's clearly an ad, or that's clearly something that I'm not really interested in. What I want to see is more the authentic photos, the authentic stories and stuff. That's the stuff that gets it. But it's important to be able to still have the brand essence come through.
Have the consistency in there, yeah.
Well, I've got an example. I mean, so for everyone, Kristen designed our brand. And you gave our colours, and then when your team built our website, you created a gel system that we used on our website, and it was built based on the brand guidelines and all the shapes and things like that. So it wasn't part of the brand guidelines, but it still looked consistent. And so as a result, that plays to what you were saying with this having flexibility but still playing the guidelines. So when people go to our website, they can clearly see, oh, that's the same brand. It's orange, it's got the colours, it's got the shapes and the sizes. So I think it's really important. Look, I think we need to give listeners and watchers some takeaways that they can learn about brand guidelines, not just about the brand guidelines. I mean, I think the main thing I would say is, what do you feel your people are taking away from your brand? I think before we even get into the paperwork of brand guidelines is, how do you want people to interpret your brand? I think that's the main thing that people listening and watching right now, it's do you feel that they're getting an experience that they can remember from all of your assets? Do they go to your website and I feel a particular way? A
consistent engagement and a consistent tone. So you're getting that, because that's where you're referencing in your brand guidelines, because you've done so much work when you're creating these brands and creating the messaging and then working on the ad campaigns, the executions. You're investing so much time and energy in that. Save yourself time by giving yourself the same voice each time, and that's what a brand guidelines is for.
Yeah, that's the essential thing from our point of view, is that if we've got that strong identity at a core, then we can work with that and interpret that and use it throughout the different channels in terms of application.
Yep. So takeaways, anyone and suggestions?
The clear suggestion from us is invest in it.
Yeah, investing in it.
Think forward about the applications of your brand, where the core applications are going to be, and incorporate those into your brand guidelines. And increasingly, we would love to see more of the messaging in the upfront to get the language through, and for them not just to be about the brand and the visual application, but more verbal understanding.
That's
what it's joined up. It's a really joined up messaging document.
I would say that don't forget the messaging side of brand guidelines, because a lot of people will say to me, I've got a brand guidelines and it's logos and colours. Exactly. And I'll say, how does your brand talk? And they'll go, oh yeah, there's that courageous. We are courageous. And so what I do is I actually write messages that the brand actually, how the brand actually talks, not just an overarching classification of we are courageous. It's this is, I give sentences and things. And what it does is it completes that brand guidelines. And the amount of clients that I do this for, that they just show relief, and they go, oh my gosh, I can give this to my team, every agency. And so at first they go, oh, that's an investment. But then when they do it, they go, oh, thank God. It happened to me this morning. The very morning I got some feedback from a client that had done the messaging, and they were like, this is our brand. Now I've got something to share as a playbook to my sales team, to my marketing team, to my agencies, to my customer service team.
It's incredible to watch and see people as they see your brand guidelines and they start to see it. It's like they're coming to this own realization of who they are as their own identity.
Yes.
That all of a sudden they get really passionate about going, oh, that's who we are. That's what we stand for. That's something I can get behind. Yeah, now I'm getting really passionate about our organization.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So takeaways is look, invest in it. It's not just us saying that. It is a worthy step for your brand, just because, and it lasts years. You always evolve it, of course, but it's just having that investment, and like you were saying, Mike, having the ability to give it to your team. And go, okay, guys, onboarders, long-term veterans in this business. Here's how we talk. Steal some of this language. Use some of these colours. This is how we work.
Excellent. Good.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much. We're coming from the fabulous multimedia workplace here at Alfred's Point in the Shire in Sydney. So thank you for joining the 4 Marketers, and we'll see you in the next episode.